announcements and remarks from Chris, and then I have a couple announcements, and then I've included a laundry list here of discussion topics related to the first 2 months of our proposal process. And so we will be going through all of these questions, and I'd love to get everyone's feedback. And we're going to record everything. And basically, this is your process, so I'm going to support in implementing any changes and improvements that you think are necessary. And yeah, let me turn on the magic minutes, and then you can start.
Recording magic minutes.
Okay.
Well, hello everybody. How are you doing this fine, fine day? Wonderful. Um, the just a few things I just want to actually to address. One thing that's, I mean, as everybody probably noticed here, that we had a dip today. Somebody in the community decided to sell some tokens off, which is fine. It's everybody's right, their ability to do whatever they want with their tokens. It's their tokens. Um, but one thing to actually keep in mind, it's created some extra chatter in the Discord communities, and probably will be actually in the Twitter Spaces and everything. And the key here that we need to do is to make sure that we are present, that we are out there, we're answering questions, knowing that yes, community members can sell, but it doesn't actually affect the product overall. We're same mission, same idea, same push as ever, and it just makes it so that the tokens are a little bit easier to get for people, which is great.
It's a good buying
The
opportunity, if you
good
ask me.
buying opportunity, a good buying opportunity, exactly. But for the mostly here, the just be present. I woke up this morning, saw it right away. First thing I did is jump on Discord because I was like, all right, well, make sure that people know that I didn't jump on a boat to Maui. But that was a joke that probably not many people got.
I got it. Good stuff.
Thank you, thank you. But yeah, the main thing here is like to be there. There's a lot of angst right now in the community. Or there's three individuals that were vocal this morning about their issues with marketing in general. I recommend jumping in the Voyager chats in Discord to read it and my responses. That's pretty much what those responses are what I feel. I think that there's a lot of confusion of what actual KOL means. A lot of the people in the community see KOL as paying somebody to shill our product. And really, the better way to think about KOLs is living billboards. It's a opportunity for Voy to plaster the information about what makes Voy great and make more eyes see it. But I urge the community to suggest more and better ways to get the message out. Some people on there were saying we shouldn't be spending any tokens on marketing. I disagree, but there are actually thoughts and beliefs out there, and I urge them to actually to reach out to you all to voice their opinions if they don't have the ability to actually be in the committee, because at the end of the day, the community through you all have the ability to decide 100% of where everything goes. So, but I think that this is a sign that when things go down, people are more communicative. That means that we will have to as well to address and make sure that people know that we're here to listen, and then we're here to be part of it, and they are as responsible as anybody to actually make the right decisions about everything. So. Somebody give the opinion that they disagreed that the community should be able to have a say. I said I disagree with you. I think the community should. I think that person was saying, you know what, this be up to a group of people to decide everything. I was like, this is 100% where all the rest of the blockchains do it. So put your opinions out there, put your thoughts out there, just make sure people know that you are listening and you're there. But other than that, the main thing to actually to like this is a reminder is that because the price fluctuates a lot, we should not put dollar values on grants going out, especially long-term grants. Because if you put a dollar value on a long-term grant, what ends up happening is that if the price goes down or goes up, it screws up their economics. It could screw up pretty bad. So we should really get away from any type of dollar locked grants because of that, and especially going forward. And this is one thing that we brought up during the network meeting. The last network meeting was that the relay runners was originally going towards that direction, where it was a dollar amount every month, and I think that could end up screwing our economics up. So I pushed against that. So anything that you see go across the board, or up to you guys, if it has any type of dollar locked value, unless it's a one-time payment right away, I recommend strongly against it. But obviously, it's up to you guys. If you want to screw everything up, you can. So, this is what makes blockchain exciting. It is that we are at the whims of the community, of the owners, of the people out there that believe in things. Is that this is how it is. This is what we do, and it's what makes it exciting. When we're in it for the long run. So that's everything for me, Shanti. If anybody wants to actually ask me any questions or talk to me about any of those things, please do. I'm here. If anybody wants to add to it, actually on the core team side, Bill, Benny, Shanti, Henrik, Cody, you can as well, or on the council side, please do, because I think that this is a recorded, viewed thing going on right now. So give your opinions, give your thoughts on it. I think it'd be good for the community to hear you.
I'll just jump in and say a couple things on my end. Like the price action has never really impacted me anyways. We've been doing this for a long time, building towards something great, and just because the price action is negative today doesn't necessarily mean that we've stopped pushing forth and forward with the mission and aligning our values and incentives. So from my perspective, it doesn't matter that the price action has gone lower. I look at it as a good opportunity to continue to support and buy at a discount in some ways. And even if it goes lower from here or goes higher, that doesn't matter, and it probably shouldn't get in the way of what we've been trying to build in the first place. So that's just my 2 cents.
Cool.
I encourage community discussion. I encourage the community to discuss things with the council and the core team, and decisions get made through that process. And some of them will go great, some of them will go bad, and some of them will go ugly. And all we can do is make decisions, own them, and then adjust as we go forward. And that's the beauty of the way we've designed it, because this is a 20-year project, and we're in the first 2 months, so it's super early. So keep at it, keep doing what you're doing.
The people I've spoken to, because I had a couple of people ask me what's going on, but I think they had that knee-jerk reaction, because when I actually talked to them about it, I just said it's just so early and it doesn't actually take that much to drop the price, and most people are locked up so it doesn't sort of matter in the long run. So yeah, it's funny because they were like, well, I said you've got boy locked up, so the price doesn't matter. And then when we talked a bit further, a lot of them were just then trying to work out when to buy, when's the best time to buy, rather than getting too worried. I think it was just the knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah, I got some feedback about the pools not being in sync, and I was just like, oh, it's not my responsibility to keep the humble pools, matched up with the Mexi. Give me some USD, I'll do it.
That's funny. They were complaining that there was an ARB opportunity. They
That was it. There's an ARB opportunity. It's like, yeah, someone,
that's how AMMs work. Turns out.
Well, all this is a good thing for the price of unit, I think. So there's that.
That is true. And then, the great thing about it is that it makes the volume go up, and a healthy volume is the sign of a healthy ecosystem. So, more so than the price, because if the price doesn't actually matter unless there's enough volume to support it. So, good, good overall. But anyway, that's everything from me, Shanti. Pass it back to you, and moving on.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so I'd like to kind of have an open discussion. Also, before I get started, there is a tracker linked right there in the agenda. So we're now having a comprehensive tracker where we're keeping all of the proposals as separate tabs in one workbook, and there's other tabs in there that you can ignore for now, and I'll explain them maybe in a future meeting. But the September, October, and November trackers are now in that link. You can save them. Okay, so I want to have an open discussion about how we can improve the proposal process um, on two fronts, like how to make it easier and more manageable for the community, but also with the goal of making it a better process for all of you, so that the goal is to one day, for the council to take full ownership over this process. And I don't think we're there yet. So knowing that that is the goal, I think we need to make some improvements and see how can we get better engagement when it comes to bringing the proposals across the finish line, mainly so that we are relying less on Scotty. So Scotty and I meet every day, and I think one of his major concerns is really his job is to just manage this spreadsheet. It's not really to be, repeatedly asking for people to submit evaluations and to do votes, and then to like also check the quality of the comments in the community review, and then to check the quality of the comments in the evaluation. He does this because he's super passionate and very invested in governance at Boy, but it really like goes above his job descriptions. And then it also means that we are heavily reliant on just, him when we don't know how long Scotty will be with us, and we need governance to exist as just with honestly with all of you. So I have some questions here that he brought up, and then we kind of discussing things that we wanted to discuss um, with all of you. But before I get started, I'd love if we can just maybe go around and people can share their general sentiments about what's working, what's not, what's been effective, and like where are the big gaps, and then we can get into some of these more pointed questions. Anyone can start if they have any thoughts.
I'll just jump in and say, and I kind of had a couple conversations with maybe with Scotty about this a little bit too, is just on the evaluation process. And I know that that's one of the first things that we're wanting to talk about too, but there have definitely been a few of those evaluations that I feel like they came after the voting. Is that right? Did they come after the voting process?
There was a few that did not come after, they came at the same time
Same time.
because we needed a response immediately when something had to happen on like, the 28th.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. And it seemed like maybe it was just me that ended up voting and then filling out the evaluation after the fact. And in some ways, I feel like it was unnecessary because we had already done a ton of, discussion about certain topics. And then there are definitely other ones where I feel like we didn't have as much discussion on them. And the evaluation was probably important for us to kind of read through. And then maybe if we hadn't had a whole lot of discussion, it would have been nice to maybe see some of the other council members' evaluations as well. So there wasn't, there's not as much transparency on that front. But before we submit a vote. However, I do think that at least for the topics that we had a lot of discussion around, it might not necessarily have been needed for us to fill out those evaluations. But I don't know, just a couple thoughts on that.
Anyone else? I think we're going to get into a discussion on the evaluations, but I just want anyone else in general. Okay, then yeah, let's start off with the evaluations because it is a big thing. I think one thing that we're noticing is like the quality of the evaluations and the comments isn't really necessarily helpful to the community, or they seem to be, people are rushing, obviously, because I think part of it is this we've had these deadlines. And so then Scotty and I were like, oh, should we do away with the evaluations? Should we keep them and request that, people, you know, we monitor kind of the comments and like encourage people to put in more robust comments. And we haven't really found a good solution. I was We haven't really found a good solution, and then which led us to, if you click to this cradle to grow grave approach, it's basically, Scotty came up with this idea that we can assign proposals, incoming inbound proposals at the start of every meeting. And it is like people will randomly get assigned, everyone will have generally an equal number, and they are responsible for really like ensuring like the community review is there, that the evaluation comments are there to really be supportive of the applicant, and kind of collating the comments of everyone else on the council, and making sure that everything is just reflected in a way that's useful for the applicant. Because at the end of the day, like what we say in the community review and also on the evaluations is reflective of our investment to the community and our willingness to kind of like lift them up and make sure that they're successful. So maybe like just having that end-to-end ownership model might solve things, but I'm sure there's other ways to improve this. Um, yeah, any thoughts?
I mean, one thing that I like about this approach is some of that aspect of whoever is managing the process at the time needs to go and kind of speak to each of the council members to get their feedback and the community to get their feedback before they submit. I think that it could, there could be some challenges there depending on people's availability and, that type of thing, but it makes sense to me to do something similar to this, but also, yeah, it could be maybe it would make more sense to do like verbal evaluations and kind of record them and then have magic minutes decipher what we all think and have that to be submitted. But that's just it might take a lot of time to do something like that too. So I don't know, just an idea.
Anyone else? Army and Shelley, Sharon.
Yeah, I was thinking that maybe if we have this sort of assignment, it might be something that the assigned council member might do to, one thing they might do is to uh, increase the awareness of the proposal, because there are some proposals that they just have like they just don't have a lot of traction and people don't know about them. And in that case, if it's just like one of us, or like two of us or something, I don't think it would go through if like no one in the community has provided feedback for the proposal. So it just wouldn't go through just based on that. And so like we would want to we'd want to put it out there and try to get feedback from wherever the community is.
Okay. Well, it might be worth at least just testing it out this month and seeing how it goes because I think it's hard to figure out if it'll actually work if we're not actually testing new ways of doing things. Um, so what I can do is, I don't think we have any new proposals as of just the past couple days, but maybe what we can do is there's a number of proposals if you go down to here. No. The Scotty's document, he's listed all of these proposals here that are still in need of evaluation. Um, and so what I will do, if you're open to it, is well, do we want the evaluation process? Do we want evaluation to just now be, done by the owner of that proposal, or to still be done by the entire council? This process is really like your decision, because we have so many proposals and so many evaluations. Like, would it be more useful to just have one person doing one evaluation, or would that not be comprehensive enough?
Are you talking about the evaluation that we've been doing before the
Vote,
voting?
yeah. And as you can see, there's so many that need to be still be submitted, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
And
7,
those
8, 9, 10,
each of those
11,
evaluations
14.
do those go back to the person who had submitted those evaluations to
Hmm.
like get a better idea of whether or not that their proposal is going to get pushed through or if they need to
Yeah,
potentially
the
revise
feedback
them?
gets sent to them. Scotty emails them.
Scotty emails them feedback. Okay.
Hmm.
And so, and I know that this is kind of, we've had some where we've made some votes on and then had proposals or evaluations after the fact. But if we, kept it that each of us were to submit these evaluations, could we make it so that they have to kind of rebuttal, like the other side has to provide some type of update before it gets pushed to vote?
Like having the applicant report on how and if they incorporated any feedback.
Yeah,
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's up to the applicant to determine if they want to incorporate the feedback.
right, right.
Um, so we could do something like that. How should we do it? Like, how would that work?
I
Like
think
in the, mhm.
Oh, sorry. I think one way we could do it is, like you said, maybe we can have one of the whoever is assigned to do the evaluation, but we would allow other council members to participate in the evaluation by approaching the person assigned. So they would provide feedback there. So they say, for example, there's a proposal that is assigned to Zarmian, but it's the other council members have a lot of interest in, so they will approach Zarmian and talk to him about it and give their feedback. But in the end, it'd be Zarmian um, filling out the evaluation form.
Okay, so Zarmin would fill out the evaluation form and then independently also um, with the team.
Yeah, we would it would be like the any of the other council members would be able to participate in the evaluation. So they would do it in groups, or they would do it in like the in Zarmian's room, So I think that would um that would allow all of the if they're not randomly assigned to the proposal, it would allow everyone in the council to participate in the evaluation, and it would still allow us to do the what's it called, the new the new procedure that we're going to try out?
Like just people have to like come up with a milestone plan and allocate tokens. Token allocation plan. Are you looking for it, Kelly, or was that all?
Oh, sorry, Shanti, I didn't hear you. Can you repeat that?
It's just it's the added step is simply to have a milestone tracker
Okay.
where they allocate tokens to each of the different milestones.
Um, oh, okay. So that wouldn't that only apply to grants that have milestones?
Yeah, so I have put it, which now needs to change for anything that is over 10,000 USD. So bigger projects, which I think maybe those parameters need to be changed, and obviously they're not for like policy and procedure proposals. Therefore, bigger design grants, bigger build grants, or initiative and service grants where there's milestones that need to be met in different activities. That um, anything kind of that has like a sequence of activities. Um, okay, I mean, I think that's a good idea. Like if Zarmian was responsible for a certain proposal, he would be responsible for ensuring that the evaluation was completed and then getting feedback from the rest of the council. I think like that process of going and like soliciting feedback from other people might be a little cumbersome depending on people's availabilities and trying to, um, get people to come and discuss. Yeah.
I don't think you would have to solicit feedback. I would just it would just be it'd be something that the council members not assigned to the proposal would be able to do. They would approach Zarmian for just to talk about the proposal, not Zarmian trying to get all four of the other council members for their feedback.
Okay. And you think that people would be proactive enough to go do that?
Yeah, for the
That's
proposals they're interested in, but if
okay.
not, it would like at the bare minimum it would just be Zarmian.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm down to try anything. That might work. See what are topics that we have here? Um, just general comments that we had is so we talked about evaluations. One issue is just the community review. Um, really like token amounts should be decided if they haven't been already listed by the applicant, they should be decided during the community review. A lot of initiative proposals, people, might not necessarily want community feedback as to like what is a good amount. So, like a good example was the hackathon proposal and some other similar types of proposals where we wanted the community to really weigh in what they think is like a good, meaningful payout. And so but we've noticed there's a few proposals that this consensus, especially a lot of the relay proposals, has not been drawn. And so that would be a major responsibility for the person that is assigned to that proposal, is to make sure issues like that are dealt with in community review before they move on to evaluation. Um, and also, there's projects just with if the value of the project is questionable and it's in community review, it would be up to the person that is responsible for that proposal to reach out to the team and collaborate with them on how they can make more substantial edits to make it more valuable to the community. So those are like our two major comments from the community review and evaluation. Are there any comments about that? And then I want to kind of talk about communication in the Discord. Okay. So the other thing is, I've gotten some Twitter um, messages about like what, how to do this and that, and people don't know where to go to like contact the community. And so in Discord, I created this, I changed the old governors chat to make it more obvious to the community council governance discussion. I don't know if this is obvious. Maybe I need to write a message in here that it's meant for the community, but I was hoping that this channel is just used for as a space for the council to interact with the community. If they have questions about anything, the proposal process, like if they're doing something incorrectly, how to go about something, they would ask it in that channel. So if you're not aware, that was the intention of the channel. If you think that we should name it differently to make that more obvious, I'm definitely open. But I think we need a better way for community members to interface with the council directly. And so if you have thoughts on how to make that better, that would be great. And yeah, and that would help me, make people less reliant on Gotti for, they're asking a lot of times, like, what is the status of the proposal? Really, like, they should be coming to the council asking for the status of the proposal. Yeah, we would generally, and then the last comment is we'd love to see just more engagement in the actual process of making application successful and making sure that every applicant gets through the completion line being communicated with, feeling like they are supported, feeling like all their questions were answered, and there's like no ambiguity about where the proposal is in the process and what's going to happen next. And so that we thought can just be better attained through a communication channel with the community in Discord, and then having great ownership over each individual proposal. And I think like another thing is, we have this proposal development channel, and I feel like it's being underutilized, but the proposal development, like, yeah, there's only 3 in here, but I assume that, people are really have ideas, but aren't at the stage where they really want to formulate a full-on proposal. Like this channel should be way more heavily used to kind of do that brainstorming. And so communicating that intention is also important. Like one guy communicated with me in Twitter, and he was like, "Oh, thinking about doing X, Y, and Z. Don't know yet about like creating a proposal. Like this is like where he should really be coming to get feedback and find people to collaborate with."
Just a kind of thought on both of those two Discord channels. I can definitely direct folks there at the beginning, at the end, in the middle of any spaces that I'm hosting. And I think that we could probably communicate that to the other folks that are regularly hosting spaces to like, hey, make a tweet, pin the tweet at the beginning. And any time that anybody references, hey, let's make a proposal, or hey, you should, if throughout the entire time somebody pops in and starts talking about, building some type of application or getting some type of proposal done, or talking about what is actually being discussed, we can always point folks to that post that is, in that upper corral, if you will, of the Twitter space. So I think that would be one way we can get some more engagement. And I feel like I've had success in the past in spaces where I've been trying to, direct people to make comments, so that we can, push forward other proposals more. So I've seen it work, and I think that if we're a little more vocal about it and have, other folks that are hosting spaces, the Haroofs of the world, the Tacos of the world, Ice Age, and you name it, really just focusing on, hey, let's make a post and leave it in that corral and direct people to it when the topic comes up. I think those channels will become a little more utilized, and we can drive engagement that way as well.
Yeah, like I think like first thing is like all of you should just know it exists and what the purpose is for, so that you can tell people um that this is, where they should be communicating. It shouldn't be like in DMs in people's Twitter because really the questions they have will be beneficial for everyone. Yeah, Shelly.
What was the name of the channel again, Shanti?
It's council community council governance discussion
In
under
Discord?
governors. Yeah, under
Okay,
governors.
got it. That's a long name for a
Yeah,
Discord channel.
that's why I'm open. I needed to communicate that it was like an interaction between the community and the council. Um, so please feel free to rename it. Okay, let's see what else. If you haven't, we're going to talk about. Okay, the last thing. Okay, so if you haven't looked already, the token allocation form that's now included on bigger grants is right there, and it corresponds with a grants milestone manager that's to be used by the project team to help them manage the milestones and also request payouts. It's pretty, like, if you can please take 10 minutes to read through each, it will be really important because I don't want, like, if someone has a question about how to fill this in, which they do because they've been asking me, it would be good if you can start answering those questions. And then also if we can like share what people are asking, then I can improve those forms. Related to that is just which I think we covered today, people shouldn't be requesting USD. So if this is what we've decided, then I do need to make that more clear on all the proposal application forms. And I think one thing that I at least didn't have clarity on is how are we dealing with the TWAP, which I think you put a comment here, Shelly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay. Well,
I woke up with this morning and dealing with the price action and so it's not developed, but I'm proposing we put a cap on the amount of tokens that would get distributed, like if the price fell down.
mm-hmm.
And so so it
Like
would,
for that month or
for just in general. So you would have it's called, I'm calling it the was it a cap token amount, right? And so if you have a request for 3,450 USD, you would multiply that by 50K and divide by 6,000, and you'd get something like 250K boy to be like a maximum. And so like no matter how low the price gets, that's how much you would get. And but if the price goes up, you would obviously pay less, right? Less tokens, and it would be up to the USD amount. And so that's just something I thought of this morning. And it'll be big moving forward, so we don't what did I say? We don't overpay the console, we don't overpay, people that are getting compensation like monthly. And so we might have to, once if we come to agreement, we might have to make changes there for communication. But the gist is that you, like in a grant proposal, you would be able to provide either just a token amount, like a token amount. In the case that a token amount was provided, the cap token amount wouldn't be applicable. But if they did provide a USD amount, we would assign a cap token amount. Um, so so that's just a new idea. That might require changes in our forms and communication.
okay. And so Chris, you think this is, agree?
I mean, this is what I brought up in the last meeting, is that something needs to be figured out, and it's what I said earlier. But is this the right move? A cap? I don't know. I like it. That way, it can kind of stay fluid. Um, I'll have to think about it a little bit more, because I'm not saying you guys could game it. I don't think you could. Maybe there'd be incentive maybe to game it even within the bounds. But it's probably okay.
Okay.
I mean, I'd like to see a proposal, just to see what you're actually thinking, Shelley. Just to see exactly more specifically how it would work.
Okay. So Shelley, could you like we should have a procedure policy proposal, so if you could just
Yeah,
put it,
that
create it quickly.
yeah, that makes sense. I think I'll follow up today and get it moving. It's so just so everyone knows what it would entail. Sounds good.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, so that's all that I had for discussion topics. So we're gonna try, I'll probably meet with Scotty today to figure out how we'll go about like the assigning of proposals, but moving forward, that's what we're going to do. My last question is, we have so many evaluations to do. How do we want to do them? So we just finish them off with the same approach that we have been before. Um, do we want to assign people evaluations? How do you want to do them? There's like quite a few of them. These are from October, so they do need to get done so that we can move on to voting.
Yeah, I think we should just keep on moving the way we've been moving. So if we get like, 10 evaluations to fill out, we just do them. It might be more efficient than trying to switch into a different procedure.
Okay, so there's like 12 here, so I'm going to maybe we'll do 6 one day, and then a couple days later, I'll have them send out another 6. Please open that document because there's also 5 proposals that need a final vote. So if you can, I don't think you linked the job poll. Okay, so after this call, I'll ask him or I will send out the straw polls for any final votes. But yeah, so if you can get the evaluations done this week, that will help us start fresh next week for November. Okay, so that's it for me. And then now we have about 10 minutes so we can have an open discussion about anything.
Yeah, just wanted to make a quick comment. I know that I had added some comments into the Token Wars proposal, just about potentially trying to incentivize community engagement through hashtags, through dollar signs, all that fun stuff. And I added some more comments around it yesterday and just wanted to see if anybody had any feedback. I know it might get a little bit complicated and complex because it's being done differently than, say, the NFT games. But yeah, it was just thinking outside the box on, hey, how do we drive even more engagement and how do we drive even more positive outcomes around visibility? And I think that incentivizing the use of hashtags and mentions alongside the token mention could drive some of those outcomes that we're looking for. So just wanted to see if anybody else had thoughts on the at least the idea of adding that in.
I think adding any type of shilling side of things, the actual impression side of things, is really important. The biggest question is how exactly is it tracked, who tracks it, and how efficient is it tracked, and is it gameable? So Wilder and I have, now that Wilder, hi, good morning, Wilder. The thing that Wilder and I've actually talked about is like we want to add that side of things to the actual NFT games as well, but we just don't know the best way to do it. So
Yeah, I liked what you suggested as well. You offered a lot more places to track Twitter impressions than what we used for the previous games, which got the job done, but nobody was in love with it. I believe we took the data, made a CSV, and then gave it to Bo, who put it to his site. Um, I think for us, we recognize that the impressions on social media is kind of easily gamed. So it's more just having the prize maybe be a bit on the smaller side because you recognize that there could be, I don't want to say bad actors, but people who are uh, getting inauthentic impressions, let's call it, or impressions that aren't leading to eyeballs that could be botted. So I know for the NFT games, it was looking like something like 5% of the prize pot instead of what was around 20% or 15% in the testnet games. So uh, it's still like a very fun part of the competitions and should be there. But uh, I think one side of it is just scaling down the prizes a little bit so that the focus still remains on the like on-chain KPIs.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense to me too. And in my mind, I was also kind of thinking that at least on the token war side of things, it could be some type of like point system that just contributes to the bottom line. So it's not like hey, this token wins a certain prize because they had the most community engagement. It's more like hey, this token earned so many points because they were able to gather this many hashtags, this many mentions, this much engagement, and that those additional points potentially lifted them above and beyond the second tier, third tier project out there. So it's just kind of a thought, and I definitely do think that we would need to use like Hootsuite or Sprinkler or Social Sprout to be able to track it accurately. And that might come with, I don't know if somebody already has a subscription to it. I know that they do have, free trial type of things, but that might also incur some type of cost in order to be able to track it properly and accurately. And so that's something, of course, that we would want to discuss as well. And, if it doesn't make sense to do something like that, then I don't know. But I'm just looking at, hey, I want to drive the outcome of more visibility. And I think that that's one way that we could drive a lot more visibility.
So Benny brought this up last meeting, but we're looking at working with Goracle, and that's something that maybe that Goracle could work on getting that data on chain. So maybe there's something there. I haven't talked to anybody over there, but somebody, if somebody's connected or somebody is knows somebody over there, that'd be a good conversation to have.
Wilder.
Sorry for being a bit late, but was there any talk about the NFT games before I got in?
No.
You
You
guys
probably
did
can't
not.
see Bagman shaking his head because you're on your phone.
Okay, no, okay. So I'm thinking that based on the feedback on how long creators need to prepare, and that we're in the beginning of November, January 1st made a lot of sense for the kickoff of the NFT games. So we can maybe dial this in more if we need to in the Voyager meeting. But where I stand, I think we have the rules fleshed out to a good degree. We're getting quality community feedback around what games they want to see, and it's already evolved quite a bit from the initial proposal. So, in my mind, that gives creators ample time to get their collections ready, gives us a lot of time to spread the word as well as not rush the person who's developing the additions to the leaderboard. and I think it'll be a great way to bring the new year in. So, uh, is there anyone here in the council who's maybe looked over the NFT games or has some ideas? I know social media is going to be one part of it, but um, the big change is it's focused all on trading and really trying to push larger NFT volumes. Where the last games was about making creators come on, and a lot of the prizes were geared towards creators getting prizes and giving to their community. So maybe I just wanted to like announce that here. Maybe if you don't have comments, that's fine. But I was just excited about that, and I wanted to be recorded.
I, you and I have talked already, Wilder, but I just want to say that I'm really excited for the NFT games, and I think it's something that's really like we should put effort and care and thought into. We being you all. So, my challenge is to actually every one of you, Zarmi and Shelly, Bagman, Kieran, and of course you Wilder, to actually really embrace this one and put thoughts into it and actually give a shit about it because the reason why I'm saying that is because of all of the excitement around Dorks and now Pixel Mob and many of the actual other the new candies are pretty cool. Candy something. What was I forget what is the last part of it. I think that there is
Those
some
are cool
excitement
though.
to actually get that going. Especially like I don't know if you guys have been following along, but the new candy artist is now creating comic strips that involve these characters that are the most ridiculous things I've ever seen. So much
That's
so I want to
awesome.
actually buy them and start hanging them on. I wish I had walls to hang them on because of how ridiculous they are. But yeah, I think that there is actually a lot of interest, a lot of excitement, and a way to for people to actually use their voy. I know I will. So getting using the games to really kind of kick off the community, I think was really good. So give a shit about it. Really put your thoughts into it. Really put your opinions on it, and really get your head on it. Like so, care.
So like priority wise, this would like I think last time we discussed, having the token wars and the games the conversation. Well, the conversation was that we would like plan them concurrently, but we would but but most likely we would want to you know move the games forward before the token wars just because of how everything is set up, right?
Yeah, I think it would be really cool to actually do the NFT games first, get a bunch of NFT communities over, and then urge them all to create a token for the token wars. I think it would like lean really nice over into it.
Get an extra bonus like points or whatever if you were an NFT project and you know loop it all in so that it becomes a flywheel where you have token launch projects creating NFT projects and NFT projects creating tokens.
Something, but it's a natural progression. Get a community NFT community over here. Get some Cardano folk, get some Soul folk. Just like, hey, bring your community over here, buy the NFTs, create the excitements over here, and then like release a fucking token. Get for token wars, and then trash talk the other NFT communities about how I don't know something. I don't know. It's not my bags are not your bags. I don't. Whatever the degens do, whatever the cool kids do those things. Get Prim over here to make change my mind stuff. Paint himself blue. I don't know what happens, but it would be good overall. Back to you, Shanti.
Okay, well, this was a super helpful discussion, and we will start implementing this new process next week. And we have a number of evaluations, so please get ready to complete them. And thanks for all the feedback. See everyone next week. Thank you.
Bye.
Good one.
Recording stopped.